Just check this stream. Okay. Well, it just seems like Facebook doesn't want to have us. That's funny. Huh. All right. Looks like we've been knocked off. Okay. All right. So that looks like it's a problem. All right. Well, okay. Let me just put up a little post on Facebook and let people know that we're currently blocked off of. That's funny because we just did a show, didn't we? Let me check that show. Boom. Oh, no, that show wasn't on. Okay. Let's see, what was it doing? Oh, yeah. Let's go here. Boom, wasn't on. Okay. Turn that off. Boom. Okay, copy. All right. And, paste. Okay, so I'm just going to put live on YouTube. Facebook has blocked us. Come and join us. All right. And let's go and share that out to the group. Boom. And boom. And sorry about the delay, people. That's what happens when you're banned. So that's too bad. Okay. Let me just share it to a couple of the other pages. The information. All right. Boom. 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 Whew. Okay. All right. Let's go back. Boom. All right. How's it going, everybody? Something weird is happening. Okay. No doubt about it. Lots of weird stuff is happening. We got the tail end of this eclipse, which, as I understand, it's very personal. This isn't my intel, by the way. This is a few people out there. Shout out to Sandra Walter, and Lauren Gorgio, New Earth Institute. I would highly recommend New Earth Institute on Facebook. I know she has a website as well, but I read some of her stuff on New Earth Institute on Facebook. Yeah, they're talking about that the tail end of this eclipse corridor is very personal. So all the personal programs, all the personal information that's needed to move forward beyond this eclipse corridor, to make the best choice you can make, to be able to see the things in yourself that would be most beneficial to you, and of course we got to want to see it, and we got to be open to the fact that we might not be able to see everything. I'm sorry about the Facebook thing. Evidently, Facebook's really been suppressing us, and I'm guessing that they don't want us around anymore. But that's okay. We'll let them off the hook. Let me just double check it one more time. Yeah. Some kind of effery going on there. Yeah. So there's a lot going on for everybody. I know I'm not the only one. I've got personal things happening and physical things happening. I'm pretty good on the emotional side, pretty good on the mental side. A lot of people are moving. A lot of people are putting stuff in boxes and taking things out of boxes, putting things on shelves, taking things off of shelves. It's a real good time to be 100% with yourself. Through the years, and understandably so, there's been a lot of wounded healer archetype energy. And that sounds like a bad thing, but it's not. We needed the wounded healer archetype and the other archetypes that were present and basically pillars in the old paradigm. Having a wounded healer archetype, many of us did, and are still, like other things, other programs, other archetypes from the old paradigm, we're still kind of getting the final threads off, which isn't always easy. But the wounded healer archetype was a great archetype, because even though ultimately the person that was carrying the archetype didn't give the amount of focus and attention to themselves, they did direct their energy, we did direct our energy to other people, and learn to become, and there's many different types of practitioners, learn to become more adept at, doing that type of thing. And then ultimately learned what the wounded healer archetype was, and we began to understand that we're in a best position to heal and assist and facilitate others if we're at 100% spiritual health. So the reason I'm bringing it up is because now more than ever, it's most important to look after yourself, regardless of what your role is or what your role has been. I mean, if you notice, I haven't been on near as much as I used to, and obviously there's a lot of stuff going on at Soulogy, but there's a great part of that is because I have things that I have to take care of for myself, that regardless of, how many tickets need to be sold or how many subscriptions need to be engaged, or how much work needs to be done and this and that, the most important thing is my spiritual health, which contains my mental, emotional, and physical. And there's a lot of things involved with that, like, doing the things that serve your life in the fashion of the mundane human. I've spent a lot of time moving my mom in the last, 10 days or so, and tending to her, and also reestablishing a household for her. These things, part of the time, I would be thinking, I need to be doing this, I need to be doing that. We're not, how are we going to pay for everything for the festival? How are we going to pay for everything for the network? How are we going to get the network expanded? How are we going to get the tech elevated? And how are we going to get everybody coordinated and operating on a uniform system? But most of the time, my soul has led me to a place where it's saying, hey, you're doing what you need to be doing. This isn't a linear timeline anymore. It's not a linear realm anymore. It's a quantum existence. So there are no deadlines. There are no schedules. The reciprocation will be there. It just won't look like it has in the past, where it takes this long to sow something and this long to reap something. Now it can be very instantaneous. But yeah, so not to be talking about me or my situation, but just to be talking about the things that we're leaving behind, and the importance of self-care, self-regulation, self-maintenance, self-love, and to be careful as we move deeper and deeper into this self-introspection, and as the universal energy, the mother, shows us in her way, with the loops and the little visuals and the reminders and the situations. shows us what we need to know. There's never been a more there's never been a time where the clarity has been presented or been available or accessible, and for good reason, because we do move in cycles. I'm not one to be tied to the cycles, but I certainly respect them. And I'm talking about the moon and the sun coming up and the phases of the moon and the positions of planetary objects and celestial objects and that type of thing. I'd certainly respect it. I think we're getting weaned off of it. I think our training wheels are coming off, and I feel like that the most important, the most important coding that we can share and receive right now is when we sit down and talk to each other about these very real things. The victim consciousness is gone. The projection is gone. The pointing fingers and the externalization is gone. If we're still talking about it and still working that stuff out, that's fine. But the days of talking about things and not actually embodying them, and that's not a judgmental thing that I'm saying. It's just a matter of saying the truth and being honest that, I'm okay, I'm not okay, I've dealt with that, I haven't dealt with that. One thing about this new intuitive, telepathic kind of active consciousness, as it's reformulated, where the ego has a lesser role and some of the other aspects have a greater voice. One thing about it is that it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear when we know something, because we don't have to say it. Maybe that's part of the ego having a lesser voice. It used to be we get downloads and we want to go tell the world, or whatever the case is, and we want to go tell the world. That's a perfectly natural thing. But one thing I've noticed in myself and in other people about this new energy and our new active consciousness, which is made up of many, many parts of us, which is being reformulated and restructured, is that we don't have to say it. If you know it, why do you got to say it? If the same goes for, because if we really know it, we know it. We don't have to say it. We don't need any validation. And there we go, back connecting the dots back to the wounded healer. I'm going to lose myself in my work. I did it, you did it, we all did it. And I'm just bringing this up because of the importance of focusing on ourselves right now, more than anything. There's nothing wrong with seeking external interaction and external conversation and external fellowship and so on. There's nothing wrong with that. It will always be part of our unity experience. It'll just look different as time evolves. And there's nothing wrong, period. But I do feel like that there's many of us who are living a lifestyle of conscious creation, that we're learning our way, and that it's important to remember the patterns from which we came. So, I guess another way to say it is the days of holding each other up are over. I can't hold you up and you can't hold me up. Nobody has to be held up. If I'm holding you up or you're holding me up, then we're not at 100%. Neither one of us. And we know this. It's called a codependent relationship. And the thing about a codependent relationship is it has an imbalance. There's a lot of information coming through now. And it's a good time to remember as well that we're still subject to the human condition. And some of our channels, some of our transmissions and downloads and You know, not only are they powerful, but they've also have quite a bit of longevity from a linear respect. I'll use myself as an example. The first time I heard the word Soulogy was at 3 o'clock in the morning in March of 2012. And from that day forward, throughout the next, right up until today, I would receive downloads, sometimes very specific downloads. For instance, in 2018, I'm in a hotel room in Clear Lake, Texas, and my ceiling fills up with these look like white birds. Several galactic beings were over here on the left, and 3 insectoids were here on the right. And the Arcturian, what they said was the Arcturian 9, started speaking to me. And they told me about what I would describe later as 5D commerce, based on the 369, a third, a third, a third, a third cost, a third to the platform, and a third to the community. And then there has been many, many other downloads, such as in March the 1st, I was told, Soulogy needs to leave social media. And then there's been more since then. Now, my point is this. We all have our visions. We all have our prophecy. We all have our transmissions and our downloads in our own ways. One thing we're also learning is not to compare ourselves to each other, because it may look different on the outside, but it's all the same. So what I'm trying to say is that every step of the way, I don't just ask questions of those aspects that provide information to me. Who are you? Because there's no question I can ask that shouldn't be allowed to be asked. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a wide open and free connection. But I also ask it of myself. How do you feel about this transmission? How do you feel about this information? Has it affected your ego? Are you on point? Are you, getting out of bounds here? There's nothing wrong with checking yourself. There's nothing wrong with that at all, because these channelings and transmissions and downloads are very, very powerful, and they are challenges to the ego. And I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are, because no one on this earth is walking on water. Okay? There's always the chance that there's something we can't see. And one of the ways to detect that is our need for external validation. When we seek external validation, we're looking for reinforcement for that which has been given to us. And all intel, every download and every transmission that anybody receives is meant first for that individual. It's more than likely shareable, because as the individual goes, so goes the collective. But the purity of it, the value of it, the weight of it, the purity of it is when it comes in that moment. And there's only one person that gets that, the person that received it, the person that's the conduit for it. Because as we all know, from the downloads that we get and the transmissions that we get, automatic writing, channeling, whatever, the more we open our mouth, the more time that our active consciousness, which includes our ego and other things, has time to sit with it, the more diluted it becomes. So, I really feel like that this has been a period and a year of a lot of time alone, a lot of solitude, a lot of privacy, a lot of spending time with self and all the selves that make up the self and the soul. And I don't really feel like that's going to change. I feel like what's happening is we are, in the process of coming together, in the physical, through events, through communities, through shows, through initiatives. But at the same time, instead of walking in two worlds and one's out there and the other one is here on the earth, we're walking in two worlds where one's in here now instead of out there. We discovered it's inside of us, and we're walking, still walking in that first world, the physical world, the world that we share together with external playmates. But instead of being out in the ethers, it's all located right in here. And that's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. It really is. I find too, through some of my own interactions with some people in particular, and I'm finding that I'm having moments of deep love that comes when I purely see the reflection of myself in another person. And this comes from elements of faith. It comes from elements of trust, mutual faith, mutual trust. We could use the term love, but I don't really know how to use that word anymore. But really, I think another word would be transparency. I think that'd be another way to put it, is when I can see without any obstruction a person and it looks like me, or I can see or sense or know that that person is seeing me for who I am. And that's a really cool feeling, because we spent a lot of time all these years trying to be understood instead of trying to understand. And I think this universal energy that's with us now, that's expanding, the mother's energy, whatever you want to call it, has made it much easier, much less problematic to be able to have that torus between two or more, right? That torus field, that infinity sign, you could say an infinity sign. It's become much more accessible and fully accessible. And what does that look like? It looks like no judgment, no agenda, no preconceived notions, no expectations, no demands, no absolutes, but actually showing up with what you have and claiming ownership of nothing. Now, this is going to be, something that when we talk about these things that we talk about in these communities, things such as ascension, and some of the changes and some of the programming and deprogramming, just knowing something doesn't mean that it happens. And I believe possession is going to be a real big, hard, way in the back tooth to pull for light workers. I'm not trying to put anything in the field, but oneness is oneness, and unity consciousness is unity consciousness, and there is no in between. You own nothing. Nothing at all. Not the song that you wrote, not the modality that you downloaded, not the book that you wrote. None of it. If it's not shareable, it's not even real. Okay? And I feel like that this is a big step that we're going to take, is to be able to actually show up and bring whatever we have with us, whatever talents, whatever resources, whatever skills, and put it on the table and say, here, this belongs to the you, me, we, and it, which is the one. Okay? That's how this is going. There is no ownership. There is no possession. There is no copyright. There is no trademark. You own nothing. And I own nothing. You don't own me. I don't own you. You don't have a claim on me. I don't have a claim on you. You don't even have it with your kids. I don't have it with my kids. The reason I'm bringing this stuff up is because I believe we're at a point now where I always have believed it, but I think there's hard proof of it, that we're dictating the pace of this thing. Now, I don't know about you, but every time I see somebody say, oh, it's going to be a few years, well, I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. I've seen too many timelines accelerated over the last few years, coming from high caliber people, high frequency people. Even our brother Franco Di Nicola first came out talking about 2037. And he brought that date forward. And he always did explain that it's always open to change. The importance of standing in our power, the importance of exemplifying and representing and being unity, consciousness, and oneness is really important because that's what dictates the pace. That's what dictates ease and grace. You cannot say that I am unity consciousness and I am oneness, but my songs are in a different category than your songs, or my light language is more pure than your light language, or my connection with source is higher than yours, or my book is better than yours. Now, we might say, oh, I would never say stuff like that, but it's not so much what you put out there, but it's what you have in here. Okay? And the great thing about what's happening now is that we're having many, many opportunities arise as people and groups take initiatives to come together in non-conventional, atypical ways. And I would say Soulogy is that. And there are other Soulogys. And this is not a, what do you call those? Infomercial for Soulogy. And I say this every time I get on. If you can't do it at Soulogy, do it somewhere. And what is that? What is that? That's showing up, not knowing how you're going to get there, not knowing how you're going to pay for it, not knowing how it's going to come together. But every time you take a step that direction, there's somebody else walking next to you. There's some other little miracle happens. And I'm seeing more and more and more of these every single day. And I can go right down the list. Much of what's occurring now, as we take the initiative, as we take the next step, is what we're being met with, what's being reciprocated, is actually stuff that we sowed many, many years ago. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 years ago. There was an imbalance. We all know that it was 2 steps up, 1 step back for all these years, but something happened at the beginning of this year, particularly by March 1st. Now we're being met immediately with an instant manifestation, instant validation, instant creation, instant reciprocation, based on taking additional steps. So I would encourage everyone to look for the atypical, look for the unconventional, listen to that still small voice that's getting louder and louder, that speaks through your heart, mind, and spirit all at once, that tells you, hey, jump on a plane and go here, or jump in the car and go there, or Go open a page on the internet or a blog on the internet, or go write a book, or go call this person and connect with them, or whatever it is. Listen to it. Follow it. Follow it. Follow it. Anything that leads to unity consciousness is the soul highway. And picking a side in this debacle occurring in the Middle East is not unity consciousness. Picking a side in the debacle in Ukraine is not unity consciousness. Even picking a side between the 1% and the 99% is not unity consciousness. There is no in between. Getting caught up in the narratives of our history, which can all be debatable, because nobody knows for sure. And here, let me tell you something. The past is the past. The past isn't here anymore. It's back there. Okay? That includes every narrative, and I'm not taking shots at anybody. I'm just trying to make a point. That includes Lisa Renee's material. That includes Ashiana Dean's material. That includes Zachariah Stitchin. That includes Gobekli Tepe. That includes Jesus. It includes everything. The only thing that's here is now. That's it. And that's me and you. And we were everything that we have ever known. Everything that's ever been thought. We carry it all. We carry all that power, every bit of it. We don't need to look in a sacred text anymore. We don't need to follow specific ancient rituals. Not that they don't help, and not that these things don't assist us. But we have the power to do anything and everything that we want, because we now have a free will in unification with universal will in this spirit flesh, in this physical world. Don't let anybody or anything stand in your way. Nothing. A soul does not die. And a soul doesn't even survive. How can anything survive if it can't die? We're not survivors, we're souls. From a human perspective, you could say we survived something. But it wasn't a survive. It's a mission. It was a pre-orchestrated, pre-designed, pre-agreed upon set of parameters with attributes within it to enhance our soul's experience and therefore the universal's experience. New experiences. We talk a lot about new birth. Let me tell you something. When we jumped into this realm, that was the new birth, okay? That was it. That was the new birth. And we've been out here doing it for eons. And as everybody knows, it feels like we're in the home stretch now. So, I didn't feel so good today. Like a lot of us, I'm having a few physical issues, with the changing of the energy and all the stuff being cleaned out of the body, which is the universe. And I don't really even know what I said for the most part, but I'm going to try to recap a couple things. Beware of the wounded healer archetype. Why do I say that? Because when things get amped up a little bit, and this has been our pattern, all of us, we tend to reach out for something or someone. The wounded healer archetype, or workaholic, for me, archetype, same thing. Oh, I'm serving, I'm broadcasting 6 hours a day. I'm good. No, this is the time to be focusing on yourself, to be honest with yourself, to take everything and everyone out of the equation, and it's only you, period. It's only you. Okay? And that's in regard to everything. Mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, everything. the body as a consciousness, the relationship with the body as a consciousness now, what it's doing, the light bodies, the third eye, the information coming in on the third eye. This is multidimensionality. It's putting all these pieces together from the human. It's not all that stuff out there. I got news for you. It's out there. Do we have a body on Arcturus, and do we have one on this and that? Probably. But the multidimensionality is the awareness of all these different streams, and just like we don't get caught up in the grid here, now that we have learned more about who we are and how to engage this energy and grow it instantaneously. I lost my thought. Let's see. So that's one thing. Be careful of externalizing things. I'm not trying to be I'm just giving you my take on things. Creation, co-creation, collaboration, gathering, fellowship, team initiatives, group initiatives, these are huge. These are not, it's a difference when you disregard yourself to go assist somebody else. That's the old pattern of making ourselves feel good and giving ourselves a false sense of value when we're calculating that based on what we did for someone else. That's different than going over and joining somebody and working on an initiative together, because that encourages unity consciousness. And I'll tell you why. Because everybody's voice is valid. The table, the table. It's if spirituality is a round table, there is no one at the head of the table. So these are the things, and this is how we are making this new code. Is we're having conversations. Everybody's voice is heard. Everybody's information is taken into consideration. Nobody has the greater leverage than somebody else. If anybody has a higher degree of, let's say so, or whatever the case is, it's not based on longevity. It's not based on anything but respect and honor and reverence, because in this telepathic and intuitive field, every one of us knows the role of everybody else. There's no force in this way that we're carving out, in this code that we're creating. There's no force in it. It's relaxed and it's natural. And that's a great barometer and a great way to figure out if I'm on the right track, if we're on the right track, if you're on the right track. So I would highly encourage, everyone to be aware of that overgiving. That overgiving program had many, many different faces, right? But what was it ultimately? Overgiving was insecurity. Overgiving was not because you were a doormat. That excuse ran out. Overgiving was because we were ultimately, even if it was by conditioning or inheritance through DNA, insecurity. We're overgiving because we want to be liked. And what do the overtakers do? Well, they're overtaking because they're insecure. We were all insecure in the old paradigm. We don't have to be insecure in this paradigm. We don't have to be insecure in this new earth. And the crazy thing is, and the beautiful thing is, and the powerful thing is, and the omniscient thing is, that we control our level of confidence. We control our level of secureness within ourselves, because it's based on our thoughts, words, and action. It's based on how we feel about ourselves. And that's really what's happening. What's happening is we're all learning that, hey, wait a minute, I am a god. I am a goddess. We're learning this. It's not words anymore. And that's an amazing thing. It really is. So, I've been saying that I'm going to jump on here every day for quite a while these last 2 or 3 months, but it's been a big challenge, and you know, obviously, like everybody else, I have personal things going on in my life. You know, I don't really talk about them, and I would say that that's probably another attribute or characteristic of our new energy. When I say our new energy, the you, me, we, and it, is we don't have to talk about these things. We don't have to explain ourselves. We don't have to defend things. But I'll tell you the main reason, even though Soulogy's had a festival planned and out there for a couple of months, and even though we've had a network that we've kicked off, and that takes a hell of a lot of work, it was more important for me to spend time with myself and to take care of myself. And when I say that, and I think a lot of you can relate to this, that's taking a walk at 11 o'clock every night. That's laying down in the afternoon, like I did right before this show, for 45 minutes in solitude with my eyes closed. That's making my turmeric, ginger, garlic, red apple vinegar, lemon, honey cocktail this morning and drinking a couple of 2-ounce warm cups of that to offset the things in my body, or juicing in the mornings, or trying to eat right, or whatever the case is. It's so important to take the time for yourself and see to yourself, and not be in judgment about what you should be doing, what you coulda, woulda, shoulda done, and all that stuff. It takes a lot to, you know, to have that focus on yourself, given all of the, you know, all the energies that are out there. I mean, there's a lot of energies out there, in a lot of different forms. And we are that place, you know. Each one of us is that place, is that holy place, that place that really exists, you know, for each one of us in the same place, in the sense that, you know, it's just us there. You know, a lot of us have had traumas over the years, and you know, there's a lot of theories on that. You know, disassociation by clinical terms. You know, it's when you go to that place where everything's all right. It really does exist. It's not something put away in your subconscious that's unhealthy. It's bigger than your subconscious. It's bigger than your conscious and your superconscious. It's bigger than your body. It's all of the above. It's real. And I think what's happening now is we're sharing that space with each other through our human form, through transparency, which is way past vulnerability, and it's taking on physical properties. And when I say physical properties, I'm talking about light coding, apparitions, but even more importantly and more impactfully, the abilities and realities of what we call the human body. I'm talking about shape-shifting. I'm talking about bending time and space, as they say. I'm talking about, you know, so many things that have been presented to us as an aberration or some type of unique magical gift that somebody that goes on Gaia TV has and nobody else does. That's not the case. I've said it before and I'll say it again. These people that are going on Gaia TV that can recall Atlantis or speak to spirits, or, you know, this is every single person that's listening to this, every single person that's been on Soul Speaks 5D. This is the mainstream. It's not some aberration. It's not some infrequent thing that happens in 1 in every billion births. It's not. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. And that's part of the reason I want to make SoulogyNetwork mainstream, because it is mainstream. And anything like it, and any story like it's mainstream. If you get to watch any show, last night we had Under the Willow Tree with Angie Willow Love. And we had it on social media. And the reason that I made the call to put it on social media is because she was interviewing her mother. It's well worth the hour. That lady is the most unpretentious person you'll ever meet. Childlike wonder, has the realest, most transparent story you've ever heard. And in 6,000 productions, one of the top 10 shows I've ever seen. People. It was amazing. That show says it all. That show tells you and me that this is the real thing. None of us are crazy. Fairies, ETs, deceased loved ones coming back, signs from animals, conversations with trees. Nature. They tried to make nature be paranormal. It's not. And the reason we I guess you could say lost touch, and that's without judgment, that was just the way it was designed, is because we stopped believing it. And that belief starts with us and in our abilities. And there's been enough proof now up to this point. May not be, like provable to some of the old perspectives, but there's been enough evidence of self-healing, regeneration, time and space travel, just all kinds of experiences we've had with each other, with groups. I mean, look at Sandra Walter's group. I think they have several thousand, 7,000, 8,000, maybe more people that get together every Sunday and meditate in the space of their own home. I know many people that take part in that every Sunday, and I've heard some incredible things. That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing to think that for 7, 8, 9 years, whatever it is, I know it's at least 7, that this group has been doing that. Can you imagine the power, the influence that that's had on the Earth grid? And not only that, can you imagine the vortex and portal that creates for higher aspect communication to come in? These are the things that make the world go round, that really make the world go round. So I would invite you to, don't forget about the Soulogyfest in Houston, December 8th, 9th, and 10th. It's going to be a hell of a way to end the year. We just met our friend Gabriel Nora in Houston, Texas, who'd been on Soul Speaks 5D a couple of years ago. Gabriel had a show with me here 2 or 3 days ago. He's an international artist, which is by in itself is huge. He sings in 5 languages, plays 15 instruments. But the thing on top of it, he's also a first-rate hypnotist. And you can see his stuff on YouTube. It's not like a parlor trick. I mean, I'm talking like a real hypnotist. This guy's amazing. I'm going to get him to do it to me on camera. He also does sound healing like Ty Hudnall does. He does it in his own way. He's bringing his team in, and they're going to take care of the lighting, and some other things that will really give us a great experience. And then we've got more and more people coming every day. I think we've got over 20 people now coming from outside the country, which is amazing. Joe Delaney, Kristen Vambasette, Victoria Rolfe is coming. Samantha Rodriguez is coming from Mexico. Several people from Australia. This is This is amazing. And it's not a typical conference or a festival. We don't have a bunch of, where they put a bunch of pictures up and a bunch of names, and nothing wrong with that. This is where the people, what we're trying to do is emulate what's going on in this world, and that is that everybody is a star, and everybody is relevant, and everybody can sing, and everybody can dance, and everybody can speak, and everybody can give a testimony, and everybody can play an instrument, everybody can create a piece of art, and everybody is a star. This is a place where everybody can be recognized and be seen. And what happens when that occurs is that spiritual confidence grows, and the soul power begins to act like the natural contagion of creation that it is and was always meant to be. So it's not about showing off, and it's not about selling tickets. It's not about making money. And anyone that's been around Soulogy knows that that's never been our driver. It's about doing the good work and understanding that the more we do it, the more abundance everybody will have, because abundance isn't measured by what's in the bank account. And it's measured by the illumination of our soul and our ability to give and receive code or share. So don't forget about that. Soulogy, Soulogyfest.com. Ticket pricing's there. It's very reasonable. All the tickets you get 12 months free membership to the Soulogy Network, which is kind of cool. I think that's cool. We've got some online tickets as well. And then SoulogyNetwork.com, it's funny, over the years, we've never had a whole lot of pushback. Never had a lot of naysayers, at least not people that were openly saying it. Had a few here and there. And then when we made this transition, I had a couple of messages from people. And I'm sure that, I would never name people and all that stuff. But Soulogy's always been a platform for people to come and express themselves, just like the Soulogyfest. Express yourself. You're supported. You won't be laughed at. Shine your soul and share it. Because truly, we can talk about Magdalene. We can talk about the Arcturians. No disrespect to anyone. Jesus, Buddha, Kuan Yin, the Venusians. We can talk about so many different things, but there is nothing that lights up this world and this solar system, galaxy, universe, and multiverse more than a soul that's shining without impediment. That a soul that is shining, and that there are witnesses to that. There's nothing more powerful. There's no higher level of code than that. Okay. Soulogy Network. We're still working on some things. I'm too tired right now to go into it. But we got some really nice stuff coming out. Our community is growing. We've got, I think, 1,200 members. We got about 500 subscribers. We haven't pushed it a lot because I wanted to get the tech to a certain point and our systems to a certain point. We're getting very close to that. It's not always easy to do in these energies, but we're going to get it done. We have new people coming in every day. Gabriel, Nora being one of them. Dave Willingham out of Dallas being another one. We're looking at probably launching another 50 shows before the end of the year. We've got some really powerful people and motivated, inspiring people that want to come and do their own show. And we're going to create the systems, and we are creating the systems for them to be able to do that. And literally, a platform to offer. It is a emulation, a small mirror of the universal, always adding frequencies to an ever-expanding vibration, where everybody is a star. So we're going to keep working hard for our brothers and sisters, and in time we'll have a social community to replace Facebook. I'd say by the spring. We'll have an app very soon, and we'll have some upgrades to the tech very soon. That's going to make it very easy for us to spread the word about what we're doing through the actual content or clips of the content throughout social media. So having said all that, don't forget about the Soulogyfest, December 8th, 9th, and 10th, Houston, Texas. Probably be gathering about a week early. That's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but we'll have all the tents set up on Monday. So I would imagine we'll be doing stuff on the grounds Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I would imagine we'll have music every night. I would imagine there'll be more than one or two things or even three things going on every night. A couple of stages, a couple of tents that, other stuff can be going on. So yeah, if you want to come early, you come early. And there's plenty of space there if you have a self-contained or if you feel like roughing it. And, there's plenty of space, about 4 acres out front where you can set up, to some degree. We'll have porta potties out there, and the weather should be nice. It should be, probably anywhere from about 60 to, at night to maybe 72, maybe 75 during the day. Okay, so thanks for hanging out with me, and I look forward to checking in with you tomorrow. I am going to be popping in with Ernestine Day tonight, and we're going to, I'm going to join her for a bit on her program on the SoulogyNetwork. So if you're not doing anything at, what time is that at? 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 Central, 6 p.m. Pacific. If you're not doing anything at that time, maybe you want to join in and have a listen and, listen to Ernestine, and I'll see if I can harmonize with her. All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you soon. Peace out.